Guys, it has been a crazy week. There were a lot of things leading up to us being able to race at Sick Week 2023, and then something that happened right in the beginning. You guys saw last couple of videos, transmission had an issue after the axles, and another set of axles had issues. That being said, we have something. This is Thursday night. Sick Week testing was Sunday. Monday through Friday is competition. Thursday night, guys, we got a tranny to put in. So, originally, Monday night, we were out of options. We couldn't find a transmission soon enough, and we decided even if we could find one Tuesday morning, it would still be kind of whack to drive across everything and not be able to do high power hits, because last thing we want to do is break a stock transmission. Tonight's Thursday night, and we got a transmission. Thank you to George and Carlos who hooked us up with letting us use this. We have one that we can take out tomorrow.
Tomorrow's the final day.
Final day in Orlando. So we live in Stanford, very, very close. It's going to be a really, really good outcome, I think.
So we'll go and basically just do some exhibition runs, because even if you get knocked out or you can't make it, if you fix it, you can still follow along and do exhibition runs. So tomorrow we're going to try to check a 10 off of our list with...
In competition, or exhibition, whatever.
Competition, or during Sick Weeks, basically.
Yeah. So there was a lot of fun stuff that we did in these past couple days. Followed Brett around, followed Kyle around, Brent, Wyatt, Goofy, Shane, a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of friends of ours. We were able to see them do amazing things this week. We're definitely going to do Dragon Drives again. It's a super fun community and super, super fun time. That being said, let's go ahead and get started. This trans needs to come out. That other trans needs to go in, and we have to do this in the next couple hours to make it tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Let's get it done.
All right, so it is currently 8:51.
We started at 8:24.
8:24, and the transmission is coming out. You got a hold of it?
Yeah, it's good right now.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Look at that pretty bell housing.
I know, it's crazy.
It's crazy that you got that in through TSA in luggage.
Let's go ahead and put that clip right here from Instagram. I have to use my wife's carry-on. All right, so we plan to swap that trans tonight, and this is the dog box that I had in it. So before we go ahead and do that, we still want to see what was wrong with this. So it's weird, when we took it down, I spun the input shaft, and it was spinning fine. So I need the hammer. Perfect, thank you. Off fairly easy, that's a good sign. Final drive. Yep.
Just what we thought.
How's the pinion?
I think it's a pinion.
Is it gone?
No, it's there.
It's gone on this side.
Oh yeah, it broke.
Pinion's gone.
But you see what I was telling you about? It's like they were riding on, if you look, like just the peaks of the teeth are shared.
Yeah.
It's not whole teeth.
Yeah. Maybe it was a little too low on the diff. But look at this. Let me spin the... Look at the pinion on the bottom side of this. Look at the pinion at the bottom.
Oh yeah.
I can barely spin it.
Oh yeah, it's missing teeth altogether.
Oh yeah.
And then that's what chewed up this. So that broke. And then that...
Move it from this side. I can't spin it well, but... And then every time we were moving the car, it was engaging... I think it was engaging one tooth on the pinion.
Yeah.
And just rubbing on all the scarred up final drives teeth. So it was moving the car, barely. That's why we were feeling the clunk. So it makes more sense like this, because that thing moves so fast that if it was missing one tooth, it wouldn't have felt it. It would have been a slight hit.
Yeah.
But with it like this, there's only one engaging, so it would be empty, 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 engage, empty, 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 engage.
Yeah.
That's why there was.
But
that
it spins super fast.
Boom. Boom,
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom. So it makes sense. But holy crap, dude! We literally synchro spring up top as well. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
We literally broke this racing it at like 600 horsepower. Started to chew. I think that's going into fourth or going into third.
Yeah, that's not super bad.
That's not, no, but what I'm saying, it didn't have that before. The 1-2 shift always had that. So if you're looking at this right here, these were already a little scored up, which isn't anything crazy, but in the dog world, it does affect. So that's something there as well. I wonder if it started with the crack in the pinion when it broke the axles the first time, because after it broke the axles, we had that shifting issue. So maybe it was something jammed up on the inside. The shifter got, I don't know if we mentioned in the video, the shifter got very stiff. And when we lifted the car and took the load of the car off, then it shifted into gear, but it wouldn't while it was on the ground. And then when we put it back down, it shifted no problem. So I think something tweaked the first pass when we broke both axles. And then we went up again, made a pass, 1, 2, 3. And that's when I think the strain, just that blunt force intake or hit, and the crappy axle and the crazy radial prep broke one axle. And at that point, the other one just hooked, in my opinion. Now, you guys might know, maybe there's a trans expert watching, but in my opinion, something caused, or the axle broke from the prep and the situation of the car, and then the other side gripped too much, causing stress to go into the trans, and maybe a little bit of a height difference on the differential or something like that caused it then to break the pinion and score up the final drive. So unfortunate, but so far, we haven't done an in-depth analysis, but so far, the gears look okay, and the input shaft, man, that's hard to say. You can see it has a little bit of wear, but that could just be from the regular driving we were doing a bunch, because first gear doesn't have any crazy nicks on it. So we might just be okay with getting a pinion and a final drive, which is still crazy because pinion is like $1,300. Final drive is like $900. We're gonna be out a couple grand just to get this fixed. That's not something that I can just come up with on you know, oh, I'll just throw some money. Like it's a lot of money in these cars, but it takes time. So thankfully, Carlos and George let us borrow that transmission right there. Huge shout out to them. We're gonna get this into the car tonight and go racing with it tomorrow, just like we used to on a stock trans.
Yeah,
we'll make it work.
They said either it could be B16 or it could be LS, but we know for a fact
feels good, and it's LSD.
She's LSD.
Yeah,
so,
look, LSD never hurt no more.
Yeah, and we're not talking about the differentials.
Hey, yo.
So this is the noise we were hearing. Right now, this is free spinning, right?
That's no pinion engaged.
No pinion engaged. Now it's engaged because the teeth, it feels like it only has a couple teeth on it. I see 1, 2, 3.
Completely disappears on this side.
4, 5, 6, 7, and then there's a gap. So 7 teeth on the pinion itself. But right now, it'll spin freely.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
Oh, we got stuff on the magnet?
There is no magnet.
Oh, that's scary. Oh, there's the magnet.
Oh, yep, pieces of metal.
Yep, you get that on these big jobs. So we got the transmission in, and Pablo's here re-welding the up pipe because this bracket that holds the two up pipes together cracked right there, causing it to put strain on the up pipe there and crack. So Pablo's gonna get her welded all back up. Yep. We got the wheels back on. She's about ready to go.
Turn the amperage up a little bit. All right, one piece again, very nice. All right, so I made this, it literally cracked right in the center of a pie cut, not on the welds. So you can see right there, and then, oh no, that's where it finished. I think it cracked on the bottom and then it worked its way up into a weld. When I made this is fully back purged and TIG welded, so it was nice and strong. And like Shane said, from when this cracked, which was not back purged when I welded this, then, which it isn't now either, but whatever. It caused too much weight on this, and especially after all the driving and whatnot, a lot of heat into it, cracked right there. So we noticed that the last day after the trans had already broken, and we know that that would cause AFRs to be incorrect, air would go in there, so it would mimic a lean feature, causing the fuel tech to then correct the O2 by adding more fuel, and then you'd actually be overly rich. So that would foul out plugs and whatnot. We were running a little rich the other day on 93, so that might have been what it was. But now it's all sealed up. I welded it from the outside and then I welded it from the inside, MIG. I don't have any TIG supplies right now. I'm all out. I need to re-up on it. But we have a Yes welder that works for TIG and MIG. So literally just hooked it up and TIGged it up real quick. A little argon bottle right there and a little gun with the MIG. So nice and easy. Trans is in, like Shane said. Axles are in. We're just putting a couple last grounds. Wheels are on. We need to adjust the traction bar on this side and finish a little thing right here. I think I might add a little wrap around on that weld right there and put the O2 sensor, wideband back on.
Fluids.
They're important. So we're gonna put some of those in there. Thank you, Shane. I forgot about that. And we should be good for startup in the morning. It's nighttime right now. It's like what, 10 o'clock?
It's actually almost 11.
Bing bong. And we're pretty much done right here. We kind of slowed down. We did the trans in and out in about an hour, just over. But then the rest of the stuff, we took our time. It's been a long week. And thank you, Shane, behind the camera, for making this happen and being able to knock this out. Once again, George and Carlos for letting us get this stock trans. Tomorrow should be a really, really fun day. I don't know if this is going to be too long of an intro, but we really hustled to get this car to tomorrow morning to finish the event on Friday. Got kind of dirty putting the trans in. Got our turbo wax detailer. Takes all that grease away. Now the car is called La Fea. It's always been called La Fea. And if you guys follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you know that the car when I bought it was like 15 different colors. And it was never pretty. The wrap looks pretty good. So we make sure to use good products. When we first got it wrapped, we started using turbo wax about 1.5 years ago. Never let us down, and actually TurboWax hooked us up with some products to give you guys away, plus $100. So head on over to the Instagram. We're doing a little giveaway. Check it out.
No way. We weren't even doing a pull. We were doing 3,000 RPM with the stock trans. No way. Fuck. No way, God. It broke the cam. Yeah, the cam's broken off. Literally, we found it right here. See that there. God, it's hot. It just shut off. We're at 3,000 RPM. It was riding so good with the stock trans.
We were so, oh my God.
We're literally 20 minutes from the track, 20 minutes from home. Stock bolts on the cam gear, you know that they're good bolts, Loctite it in.
The bolt's still in here.
I know. Like, it's not an oversized bolt that messed up the cam. It's been on this, the cam gear has been on the cam for years. 2 years.
Tons of pulls, dyno, everything.
All that freaking work last night. This whole week, just thing and time and time again.
The car fought us every bit of the way, but we tried.
This car has literally fought us this whole trip. We rushed to get everything together. Here, get out of the road. Got everything together. Poured a crap load of money. Into it just to make the event. The bell housing, because we knew it would break again. The wheels, because they were better beadlock wheels finally. And there's a crap load of stuff that I can't even think about right now. But we poured so much money to get this car to compete in Sick Week. We tested the crap out of it. It was fantastic. We make it to Sick Week, break a trans. Alright, it's a Honda. It happens. We scramble to make the rest of the Sick Week and record Brett, support him and some of the other friends. And we were spending a crap load of money just going up to Sick Week as it is. And then we come back and pull an all-nighter to get the trans in, the stock trans, and it's cruising beautifully. It's cruising so freaking good. This car hasn't driven that well in years because it's not a dog box. It was driving perfectly. We're on the E85. It was ready to go. And cruising at 3,000 RPM, you know, cam brakes. Just a cam. Just breaks a cam.
I'm driving and I hear, I'm like, what the hell is that? Engine cuts off, RPM on the fuel tech goes down. And I try to hit the starter and I'm like, a second into the crank, I said, hold on, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
So we coast off to the side, pop the hood, and the cam gear is just there. This isn't funny, but guys, it's either laughing right now and being mad at myself, or I'm gonna break down and cry. What the hell?
Our savior once again has arrived.
Since those last clips, it's been a couple days. That was filmed on last Friday. Today is Wednesday of the following week. The head is still on the engine. Cams are out. I don't actually have the old cams here with me to show you. I dropped them off at work because Jay wanted to take a look at them and, you know, give his opinion on everything. From what I'm looking here, the valve spring height on each valve spring looks to be about the same height when I measured it with a micrometer. These are some replacement Skunk 2 Pro 1 cams, the exact ones that were in there, just a new version of them. But what I want to mention real quick, we have 3 lobes right here for every cylinder, and it might be difficult to see with a naked eye, but while this is the VTEC one, these two open up separately. This gets one of the intake valves, this gets the other intake valve for the intake side, obviously, and then the exhaust side corresponding, whatever. But these two don't open the same height. One is always a little higher than the other. That's just how these VTEC motors work. And then when VTEC engages, they both run off of the center high cam. That being said, if the valves would have bent, you would have seen something maybe consistent or close to consistent with one valve being higher than the other, and all of these are uniform, about the same height. So I hope we got lucky. Maybe there's a chance that the valves are bent. Now the proper thing to do right now would be to perform a leak down test. The valves are out, or excuse me, the cams are out, so it makes it really easy to see what actually seals up and what leaks in the engine. But I don't have a compressor here in this garage, and it looks fine, so I'm gonna do the incorrect thing, put some new cams in it, and just hope it's fine. As for the cams, a lot of people were asking me on Instagram what cams they are. I just mentioned it, Skunk 2 Pro 1s, and something that I'll mention right now, actually, I don't have the OEM bolt to reference that. There were 3 sets of instructions that I've seen as far as Skunk 2 cams. The first instructions that I got years ago basically said just to torque it to spec, blah, blah, blah. Make sure that the adjustments are correct, valve lash, whatever, do your thing. So we used OEM specs, which are the OEM cam bolt to the cam gear, and then we also use the OEM torque spec for that. A couple years later, and I verified this by looking up, I think 3-year-old or 2-year-old specs on how to install these cams. It said that these Skunk 2 cams are weaker than OEM cams, and that you need to run a longer bolt, which reaches more engagement inside of the cam to prevent braking. They literally say to prevent braking. Now, on these new revised cams, there's at least 3 revisions that I know of, with the instructions at least. These say to torque to 30 foot-pounds with red Loctite. Doesn't mention anything about the bolt, but even though it doesn't mention the bolt, we are running a longer bolt in there. The OEM camshaft bolt that attaches the cam gear to the camshaft, let's say it's this long, and we ended up going with one that's like this long. So we measured the depth inside of the cam that allows thread engagement, and we got, I think it was M10 by 125, which is the thread pitch, by 40 millimeters, which is what the bolt is that we ended up putting in it. I think the stock one's maybe like 20 or 25. We did get the OEM washer from that bolt, from the OEM fastener, and we switched that over to the new bolt, so it has proper engagement around the collar that holds the cam gear to the actual cam and holds that keyway in place as well. So we have a nice combo right here, longer bolt, proper washer, installed to their spec, 30 foot-pounds, as well as red Loctite. So there should be no hiccups with this. And if there is, obviously we'll report back, just like we always do, because we like being clear with you guys. Obviously, we missed that day of sick week. Like I said, that was last Friday. Today's Wednesday when I'm recording this. And hopefully we can at least redeem ourselves and get the car started running tomorrow with these cams. I have everything here. All I have to do is put the cams in, adjust the cam caps, just valve lash, but the cam caps, the rails and everything. I have a brand new valve cover gasket, and I think it should start up tomorrow morning. And if it does, if everything goes well, I'll probably take it for a little drive. Trans is still down. I'll touch more on that later. I think we need a pinion and final drive. You guys saw that in the clips before, but that's gonna suck because it's gonna be several $1,000s to fix, but it is what it is. That's racing, I guess. But yeah, let me go ahead and get these cams in and see if we can get the valve lash done. Camshafts are in, valve lash is done, valve cover is on, RTV is drying, new grommets and everything, we're good to go. I'm gonna wait for this to go ahead and cure for the next couple hours. Since this is my lunch break right now and I do have to get back to work, luckily I work at Real Street Performance and it's like 10-15 minutes from here and I can come and do these little things on my lunch break. But I think that the engine should be good. Last night I did Fuel Tech's relative compression test, which essentially gives you a percentage difference between cylinder to cylinder. It measures the cam angle or crank angle, however you want to interpret it as, and it measures that in reference to the time between each starter crank and how fast the piston is going up and down, and essentially gives you a percentage how close the cylinders are to each other. I'll put the photo right here of what I got. It's a little lower than ideal on cylinders 2, 3, and 4. Excuse me, on 1, 2, and 3. Cylinder 4 seems to be 100%. But I think it should be good, as when we did that test a couple months ago, it was also within about 5 to 6%, and right now we're about on an average around 7%. So I think it should be okay. I'm gonna let this dry off right now, and tonight when I get back from work, hopefully my wife and I can go for a little drive. All right, home from work. This is literally gonna be the first startup try. Let's see. Started. It's been sitting for about a week, almost a week, on ethanol still. There we go, that was no throttle input. I have the throttle set screw a little bit too high, but she's good. There's my wife right there. I'm gonna go for a little ride with her. Let it heat up for a minute. It's running, hold this. It's running again. Woo! This is so awesome. I'm with my wife. I came out for a drive, but she's running. It's so peaceful driving with the stock trans, honestly. I miss being able to do pulls and not worry about anything, but it's really, really peaceful. And with the windows down, downtown Sanford right now on the brick road, and oh my god, it's bumpy. It's not awful, but it's bumpy. Not as comfortable as taking the other road, but I'm meeting my wife for dinner in one of the restaurants here, so coming through downtown. I don't want to do any pulls on it because it's a stock trans, but gotta give it at least a little bit of throttle, just a little bit. I built like 7 pounds right there. Oh my god, that feels so good. Oh, I can't wait to put the built trans back in it. I can do some actual pulls. Tires are good. Oh, it'll be so good. All right, so it's kind of late at night right now. I figured it's pretty much as good as ever to do an outro for the video. I don't even have the garage lights on right now. I'm just kind of chilling. But quick update, obviously you guys saw the car's running good. I drove it around for like 3 days already and getting a lot of miles on the cams, letting them wear in properly. I'm gonna give it a couple more days and then check the valve lash again just to make sure that everything's still within the clearances and whatnot. But we got super lucky with the engine. It could have been catastrophic. To think about it, if that cam would have broke while we were doing a race later that day at high RPM, even at anything in VTEC, it would have been catastrophic. So in a way, it's kind of like a blessing in disguise that the cam broke at a cruising RPM, 3,000 RPM on the way to the event. It still sucks. It put us back Emotionally, also, it was a roller coaster of emotions for us. But luckily, it worked out in the end. We still don't have parts for the transmission, and honestly, I don't think I'll be able to order the transmission parts for the next maybe 2 months until I save up some money for it. So that kind of sucks, but it's on the stock trans right now, at least for the next little bit of time, and at least the car is running again, which I'm super happy about. That being said, since unfortunately this car isn't going to have a lot more screen time for the next couple of weeks, well, it'll probably still get screen time, but since it won't have any crazy videos of it racing or whatever, we're switching over to my wife's car. And if you guys haven't seen that, we started doing a few videos on it when we first got it. It's a 4-door DB7 that's getting case swapped. It's actually in the process right now. So the next couple of videos are gonna be showing the case swap process on her car. Still really, really fun. We're gonna be tuning it, we're gonna be driving it, we're gonna be racing it, and we'll also still be having this car out, just not as aggressively on high boost and whatnot. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the video for today. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all the support that I got throughout the Sick Week experience. First and foremost, shout out to Shane for coming along the whole experience and helping out all that he could, as well as my wife for letting me do these crazy things. You know, your guys' support is the #1 thing when it comes to this sport. Obviously, you guys at home who support from there, that is a huge thing for me as well, and I really, really appreciate it. Also, big shout out to TurboX, who actually helped us get to this event over the last couple of weeks. We've been posting them on our Instagram, trying to get some more followers to them because they helped us out. So we would really appreciate it if you guys watching could at least go give them a follow, go comment on a photo, go hit like on a couple photos. We'd really, really, really appreciate that. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up the video. We'll see you guys hopefully in the next couple days. And thanks for tuning in.